My first motherfucking question on this beautiful Friday: is this motherfucker working? Is it on? Is this bitch working? Okay, we on. I see the red light. I see we at 12 seconds. Let's get it. Okay, so my name is Shelton, Big Shelly. To the other ones that don't know me, I'm from Houston, Texas. I actually was a youth in the foster care system, and part of why I was in the foster care system, I was sent to Texas Youth Commission based on parole violations. Certain things happened in my experience there. I did kind of foreshadow some of the shit that's hitting the media now. As I had contacted the governor's office, I contacted the office of the attorney general. I also sent in, I guess, you could call them citizens arrest requests or whatever you want to call them. Nonetheless, I have done everything in my power to kind of, I guess, tread the needle. Not, I wouldn't say tread the needle, to to make everybody uncomfortable, so that certain things were, no new policies were put in place to protect the individuals that are in custody. However, there has not been nothing that has been done to protect any of these youth, and whatnot. As I expressed my concerns in 2012, I can only think about victims. And when I say victims, people that go through a crime and they don't get to talk about what's happening to them, so they have to suppress their feelings and they have to suppress their emotions and what they're actually going through in reality, and actually be put back in society and shit with us or with them not without actually dealing with the trauma that they went through. So this is why I feel that some of the schools and shit are being shot up, because it's certain things that kids are going through and people are going through, and it's making them feel inadequate. So they have to fill that void some way, and usually it goes by them taking somebody else's power. What happened on multiple occasions when I was there, I witnessed youth getting beat the fuck up by other youth and also some staff members, based on them telling on the staff member telling on the youth or whatever the case was. You had some staff members, one in particular, that would turn his back and let the whole dorm, and the dorm usually consists of 24, anywhere from 20 to 24 people. Sometimes it just depends on the population control at the time, but each dorm had 20 to 24 people on there. So you had it to where the staff member turned his back, let the whole, and this is, I witnessed this, I even told the juvenile correctional officers, the supervisors, the program administrators, everybody that you could think of about what happened. I even told the superintendent about the man coming to my bed, touching me inappropriately, and I was met like it wasn't a big deal. I don't give a damn. If I'm in the custody of the state, your due diligence is to protect me, not to hurt me and give me more problems that I have to overcome and whatnot, and then not even giving me the tools to overcome the problems. Let me go into rundown. So if I let you know that I've been abused or whatnot. When I say abused, let me go ahead and make sure I'm specific. I've been sexually abused in the state of Texas custody. I have been physically abused in the state of Texas custody. I have been mentally abused and verbally abused. And this is all while I was in custody. With that being said, there should be a way that you guys are making reparations or trying to have those kids talk about those issues before they get back into society. Because once they get back into society, who's to say that they're going to act the same? Who's to say that certain things are not going to trigger them to where they want to take their power back? So these are things that I have been concerned about for years and whatnot. One of the issues is they were talking about pornography. This is in a written statement that I had wrote to the Attorney General's office back in 2011, 2012, detailing the exact same issues. A JCO that worked overnight would allow the youth to fight, slap box, and do tattoos. She would bring in contraband pens, magazines, pornography, and other items. On one occasion, while I was asleep, she allowed two youth to assault me, and she stood in the doorway and laughed. The JCO said that she could not stand my gay ass and didn't know why I was still what I was still doing on the dorm. Multiple situations where I was touched inappropriately on my buttocks area while this gentleman worked overnight. One time he exposed himself to me while I was laying in my personal area. These are just some of the issues that I have been discussing. What's crazy is that after I sent all this in 2012 or whatever, you start having this man message me, sending me inappropriate messages, talking about other staff members and their curious behaviors, and everything like that. It's just things that are very inappropriate and it should not have been happening on nobody's watch, especially when you're getting paid taxpayers' dollars to protect and rehabilitate these kids before you put them back into society. Some facts, these staff members are actually grooming these kids and putting them back in society with certain already perpetrator behaviors. So what I'm getting at is that if you were sent there for a child-related crime or whatever the case was, and the fact that you're supposed to be there rehabilitated for that, and they're exposing you to pornography, they're creating you to put you back in a whole nother offense cycle, which is frustrating and concerning as anybody on this side of the in society. It's disturbing. It's like there were pedophiles raping pedophiles in there, and it's staff members, and not just that. There was inadequate protections for some of these kids. These kids were pepper sprayed. These kids were physically restrained in certain different capacities that were just not, that basically would show you its oppression. So with that being said, there has to be a change, and I'm asking all of the people that's watching this video to help create a change. This has not just been what's been going on with the Texas Juvenile Justice Department. This is also something that has been happening with the Child Protective Services system as well. So, and there has to be reparations for these kids and young adults, whatever the case is by now, if they're getting abused and put into society without the tools to helping them become successful after the abuse, after the trauma. Look at what Ohio State did for the student athletes and stuff that were being abused there. And look at exactly what Penn State did for the athletes and students that were being abused by the coach. And mind you, there was multiple people that ignored the warnings, didn't do their jobs by reporting to authorities. They were all held accountable. They need to be held accountable. Everybody needs, the word of the day is going to be accountability. We're going to be seeking accountability going forward. People need to be held accountable, whether it be the politicians that knew about it, whether it be the staff members that knew about it and did certain crimes and still thinking that they're safe, whether it be the superintendents that were allowing certain things to happen on their watch without reporting it to the authorities, whether it be the other JCO staff that was actually in the security booth watching the cameras while certain things happened and didn't report it. These are the people that need to be held accountable. And I'm calling on each citizen that's watching this video to help certain things be held accountable. We can start by contacting our local representatives. We can start by reaching out to the governor's office. We can start by contacting the Department of Justice and making sure that youth and the former youth, current youth, the past youth, all of them are being taken care of the way they need to be taken care of so that we're not having this situation repeat itself in society. And we're actually doing what we need to do to make sure that we're not forgetting about our former fallen members of society that were placed in certain placements in the government's control that needed help for certain behaviors and whatnot, and yet the state exposed them to certain behaviors and allowed them to become more of a predatory human being versus them actually being an empathetic human being. It's frustrating. It's demoralizing. It is demonic. It's all of the above. And people don't realize when I tell them I went through hell and back. That's what the fuck I mean. I went through hell and back. I was abused, taken advantage of. It was a lot of stuff that was going on in there, and both sides of the things. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I have resentment towards my family, because I was sitting here being taken advantage of by people I did not know, yet they sitting at home kicking and ha-haing like everything was okay. No, that was not what was going on. So, hell, even if they have to be taken held accountable too, that meaning I don't have to deal with y'all as a person, because I feel like y'all sat there and watched this shit happen. And I know you have to see it in my eyes. So it's frustrating. and demoralizing. Let's get back to being communities that hold people accountable instead of actually waiting on the superiors to hold people accountable, because we all know some of this shit is political. Some of this shit they're not going to sit here and do because it kind of creates a hostile working environment for them, because they have all these different patrons and citizens asking questions. Fuck that. Let's get back to the root of the problems and address this shit like they used to do before we gave the people the power.